Okay, good morning. Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. Thank you for joining the stream. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So, biggest thing that we have on the docket for this morning is we are trading post Google earnings. Google reported earnings last night. They beat the crap out of them. The stock price dropped overnight quite a bit, about $18, $20 or so. There's a little piece of information in there. Can't remember off the top of my head. People didn't quite like with it, which affected its performance with earnings. But because we've got earnings on it, should have a lot of good volume today. We've got some good key levels that have been marked out. So let's look at what they look like. If you look at the Google chart here, should be on the top right of your screen. When it reported earnings, it immediately made a range that went from 309 all the way up to 349. And so that big range that it created. Hold on. Can you guys stand by for just 1 second? I am so sorry. I think I had an issue with the stream right now. No, it looks good. Okay, that's odd. Why is it not showing that we're live? Welcome, YouTube. I know I got you guys. Why does it look like I'm having an issue with Twitch? Please bear with me just a second. That is very bizarre. If you're watching on YouTube right now, stand by for just a minute. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm having some sort of issue. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Please bear with me a second. I am going to have to shut down the live stream for just a sec on YouTube to get back up on Twitch. I'm not sure what's going on. Live, and I had a bit of an issue. So now we are live. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining today. We made it before it was too late. I talked to myself for a few minutes before I actually went live. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself now. So biggest news of the day today is that we do have Google earnings last night. So we saw a really big move in the market, particularly around Google stock. It dropped roughly about $16, $17 overall from where it closed at yesterday. It immediately made this range from 309 all the way up to 349. In addition, there is a wick fill from weeks back. Let me tell you exactly when it's from. There's a wick fill from December 30th as well that starts at basically the bottom of where it wicked down to last night and goes down to 296. So Google has some really, really appealing setups today. I do like it below 312 to continue down through this 309 level. There is another re-entry point at that 309 level. To the upside, 335 is my number. A little bit to climb. Basically got to get above where it was yesterday in order to find us a proper entry that we can take there. And so that's what we'll be looking for on Google. Overall, entire market, today's Thursday, we have jobless claims that came out about an hour ago. We have job openings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And so we may get a little bit of movement in the market due to that. Not major news, but we could see a little bit of a move due to that. The other things that we're watching, so ES, SPX. ES, we're looking below pre-market low here, the 68.47 level now. It was 50, now it's 47. To the upside, we have a gap fill to the upside, as well as I like it above 69.60 if it gets all the way up there. I know that's 100 points away, but just kind of spitting that out. Excuse me. Interested to see this gap down, though. It's going to be about 50 points, so we're going to look for an entry to get into there and see if we can catch that gap to the upside. The other thing that we'll be watching today is Meta. Meta made a low in pre-market here of 657 on the dot, so we will be watching Meta below 657 today for puts. Lots of plays on the docket today that we can possibly take. I think the most appealing one looks like either the gap fill here or anything we can get on Google. So that's what we'll really look for. And we're going to see if we can make a good trade today. Market just opened. There is a little gap fill here that starts at 68.10 on SPX. I think it's only about a 10 or 15 point gap fill. It's not like a huge one. Markets open. Meta, ES, and Google all immediately wicked below our levels that we wanted to see. So everything looks good for the continuation down, in my opinion here. We will wait until we get outside of the first 5 minutes of market, though, before we make a decision on that. Or before we make a decision on what to enter, excuse me, is what I should say. Google went right through that 312 into that 309 level. Good morning, all. Good morning in the chat. NASDAQ and ES are synced up here on this first candle. See if it continues. The VIX jumped up even further and made a new high a week. It's sitting now, it's sitting now at 21.77 and climbing and climbing. Tesla's also making a move through its pre-market low, which is sitting at this 394 level, not on the screen, but just wanted to call that out. God, this looks so good. We're in the gap fill now. Goes to just under 6,800. Could wick off of this gap fill here, so I'm going to be a little careful. Just be mindful. Especially first 5 minutes. Contracts are a little juiced today. Be careful as you enter trades. They're definitely a little juiced, a little expensive today. Seeing the bounce back now on ES and NQ on the second candle here. Really, really big bounce back. Meta went down to 653.50, so that'll be our new entry point. We've got Google as well. Google went down to 307, basically 306.92. So we will watch that below 307 now instead. QQQ wicked very aggressively away from that bottom there on this 5 minute candle. Very, very aggressive 5 minute candle. If it's your first time joining us in stream, let us know in the chat. We got any new folks joining us today? If not, all good. There's so many good setups on SPX today in ES. This is a good day. I really feel like we're gonna have a good day. 50-point gap fill too is great. Gives you a little bit of time to make a decision right where you enter and figure all that out. Always a big fan of a gap fill over 20 points or so. Wow, big bit of buy pressure coming in a bit here. NASDAQ is pushing really, really well here. Going for this 24,850 level. ES is also pushing, trying to get above this 6860. Looks like it's going to be about 6865. That'll get us inside the gap fill range. Actually, no. Maybe just above this 6860 break, we should get into the gap fill range. Doesn't mean we're going to take it right away just because it immediately enters the gap fill range. Please be mindful of that. Especially a 50-point gap fill, we've got a lot of room to make a decision on when we want to enter. I'll probably be looking about the 6850 level, 6845. I just kind of want to see how the walls look when we get there. ES right now, 6860, 6865, and really that's the biggest walls that they have to the upside. Wow, Meta made a $14 move back. Oh, that's a really big range Meta just created. Meta's a fun stock to trade. I really like. You guys have seen. Let's catch a couple of plays on Meta over the last 2 weeks. Meta's a really, really good stock to trade. I really like trading the options. It moves pretty predictably. It moves well with good volatility. I like Meta. All right, so we went up to the 6860. We rejected away from it a bit. Same thing with the 24,850 on the NASDAQ. Still below VWAP on both of those tickers too. So overall, looking bearish right now. And keep an eye out on that. Excuse me, to see if it stays below. Everything basically made a new low right after open and then bounced. For now. We're only 7 minutes into the market. Sometimes I sit here and I go, well, gotta take a trade. And then I'm like, no, we're only 7 minutes in. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. A little indecisive here in this range on both futures and individual tickers, really. Everything's staying kind of... it's about a 30-point range right now on ES. But even like Google, for example, we got the move down, and now we're actually above VWAP now on Google. A lot of volume in the morning hours just really jerks that VWAP around on the individual tickers. So if you look right here at Google, for example, you see how you had this kind of consistent VWAP line, and then boom, your VWAP just dropped here. Well, that's because it's a weighted average percentage. So the more volume, the more that candle counts for, computing into the VWAP price. And so because you're used to these very, very low volume off market hours, and then as soon as you start getting the volume in market hours, that's going to move your VWAP. They would have moved significantly up if you'd have seen a big jump up too. You don't see it as much on futures. If you look, the volume in futures is a little bit more when market's closed. So actually, you don't see as big of a drop. We saw a little drop here on the VWAP for sure, but not quite as big. We are in the gap fill now. I really would like to get above VWAP. I think above 6850 at least. is going to be the best entry here. That's going to be 68.75 on ES. It's going to give us almost 30 points to run the gap fill. Meta's pushing, Google's pushing. NASDAQ is pushing because of that as well. Tech stocks. NASDAQ is at its VWAP level right here. I will enter SPX and ES above 68.50 if NASDAQ's already above VWAP. If neither of them are above VWAP, I might wait. Kind of what I'm looking at. Google made a really nice pump there. Wow, Google's going to get back to this start level. I like Google above 335 today. That's just if you look the top end of the normal range here after yesterday. From there it can run to 340, 345, 350. NASDAQ rejected off of its VWAP 24,900 as of now. Let's see if it can push through. It's trying to get through. It did fill the orders technically at the 24,900, but didn't have the momentum to get through. If this is your first time watching the stream, thank you. Give us a follow. I'd love to have you follow. Come join us. I'm here every morning trading. Okay, there's the break of VWAP on the NASDAQ, 24,900. Let's see if we can get SPX above 68.50 here with a push on ES. ES didn't really push there. That's kind of odd. NASDAQ pushed a bit. They're out of sync on this candle. NASDAQ really couldn't get through that VWAP. It did push through the 24,900 and through VWAP up to 24,930, but then just rejected. That was also just above the 200 EMA, where it rejected as well. That's why you don't want to enter a gap fill as soon as it gets into the gap fill, especially a 50-point gap fill. We're still below VWAP. The trend is still bearish. So even though, yes, I like the gap fill to the upside, I'm not just going to enter it at the first chance I get, because it could be very choppy. Even though it may inevitably get through that gap fill, it could be very choppy as it does. So you want to make sure it gets through a key level in the gap fill that you catch really the biggest run up. That's what you're trying to do. We've been trading a lot of puts recently, so if you're trading with me this morning, make sure you buy calls, not puts. Don't make that mistake. If you got questions, don't be afraid to drop them in the chat. More than happy to answer them for you. Okay, new high of day here on ES. See if we get through this 68.50 level. I want to see NASDAQ clear this VWAP high of day, clear this VWAP and above high of day, excuse me, misspoke. Let's see if it can do it. Yeah, contracts are super juiced today, for sure. You got to be careful. They're definitely juiced. I want to see NASDAQ get through this high of day. And now at this point, I want to see ES get through its VWAP for entry here. At this point, it's really that 68.80 level that I want to see get cleared. None of the tickers I'm watching right now are making... Google is now. Sorry, I was going to say none of them are making new high of days. Google is now. NASDAQ barely made a new high of day there. Not quite convincing enough for me to enter the trade. Trading Wiz, you take that on SPX, or what did you take that on? 6K contract value, $250. That's crazy. And now we're rejecting. Look at this. Let's see if it continues or if this is just a quick liquidity grab. Excuse me. We're in a range here. We're almost breaking out of it, but we're in a range here. So we're going to be a little careful. Looks like we might make another upside push here to try to get through these levels. Yeah, it looks like 68.80 break is really going to be the best entry here now on SPX for this gap fill. Still have 20-something, 22, 23 points of it to fill. So not leaving too much on the table there. That's why I was kind of chatting about it earlier. That's why I like the 40-point, 50-point gap fills. They give you a little room to let them run first before you have to enter them. You don't need to jump in right away. You can. Because I know some of you guys are crazy. Still can't get this 68.80 break. I do think it's going to happen. I think it's more so a matter of when. It looks like the market wants to trend that way. And quite frankly, after the last few days, it needs to recoup a bit. Long terms are getting slaughtered. The VIX could. There is from this 20.5 level on the VIX down to this 19.25 level, basically 1.25 points on the VIX. Looks like a clear path down if it gets through this 20.5 level. It's at 20.66 right now. Clear path down on the VIX means a pump up. That may be when we see the pump here on ES and SPX. That's what we'll be watching for. We also we have one more big earnings tonight for the week. Amazon is the one tonight. They're down the most today out of any stock I watch. They're down 3.33%. Netflix is making a nice comeback today. Netflix is up almost 3% on the day. AMD's back up a little bit after yesterday, as well as Nvidia. Not watching those as closely today for day trading, just more commenting. I know a lot of you guys watch the similar tickers. Could not get through this 69.80 level nor this VWAP. NASDAQ capped out at about 24,940. Couldn't get above this 24,950 level. So what does that mean? It just means we're ranging here for a little while. And we're going to wait for a breakout of this range. That could be to the low side. That could be to the upside. But while we sit here in this range, we're just not able to take a profitable or high probability play. You'd always rather take fewer trades and spend more money on those fewer trades than take a whole bunch of little trades. Oh, SPX, yeah. Hell yeah. You expose yourself to more risk than you need to if you do that. Plus, you just get in the habit of chasing losses. If you lose a trade and then you immediately just try to chase one to win it back, and then maybe you lose that, so you chase another one. It's going to start a vicious cycle. So limit yourself to like 2, maybe 3 trades a day, tops. You don't even need that, to be honest. You can get away with 1. I know traders that just do 1 trade a day. That's it. That's all I'm doing. 1 trade. Done. Me, I'm okay with 2 or 3, but I'm going to take the best setups I can possibly see. If I'm a little unsure about it, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to expose myself to unnecessary risk. All right, here we go. We're about to get through the 6980 level on ES. Let's see if we clear it. The wall is clear. Let's see if we get a little momentum through here. NASDAQ also cleared the 24,950 wall. I just don't like the volume. The volume's too low right now. I'm waiting for a volume spike to come in of buyers. That's the only reason I'm holding off right now. There's not enough buy pressure in the market overall to make this a convincing move. Volume's been dropping off on futures. There is going to be a little bit of a spike on this candle, but volume overall dropped off on futures. I'm holding for now. And it wicked away from it, as you can see. Excuse me. I think we will get the move, though. Just got to be patient for it. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a retest. I think it was the day before. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was on Tuesday. We had to weather a 10-point retest on SPX. Beautiful entry, perfect entry. Got caught in a 10-point retest. I ended up making money on the trade overall. But not my favorite roller coaster to ride. So avoided that today again. Although actually you would have gotten shaken out if you'd entered it today. That's why you got to look for confirmation on all of your indicators. Am I above VWAP? Yes or no. Or above or below, depending if you're doing puts or calls, right? That's one. What's my key levels? My key level broke on Bookmap. Yep, there you go. Okay, that's the next one. What about volume? Am I seeing enough buyers to continue the momentum in the market? Right? That's where the red X was this time. And obviously we didn't have enough buyers because it rejected. In the short term, at least. I can say that. Remember what I said. On a big gap fill like this, never rush the entry. You always have time. You always have time. VIX bounced off of that 20.5 level. It did not go through that 20.5. I think if it does get through, we're going to see the continuation. We're going to see the pop, at least, in that continuation. Excuse me. My nose is itchy. Apologies. Let's see if we make another push here. Unfortunately, we are just... I don't even know what the phrase I want to use is. Victims of the market today, right? You got to take what the market gives you, and the market's not giving us anything today, right? It broke those low ranges right out the bat, bounced off of there, and it's just sit in this weird, like, kind of bearish range, you know, where most of these tickers are below VWAP. The futures are below VWAP. but they're not below low of days. So it's not. There's no setups in there right now that are going to be high probability. You could probably sit here and argue a rejection play off of VWAP and things like that, but they're not high probability in this range. This is a very, very tight range that it's sitting in. So we just need to be patient, wait for the breakout of this range, and then take our opportunity. Meta just made a new high of day, though. That's the first sign of a stock I've seen starting to break out a bit more. Meta, add Meta to the list of positive stocks today. Along with some of the ones I watch, AMD, NVIDIA, Netflix. Palantir now takes the cake as being down the most today. Oh, man. Maybe I should have put Palantir back on the docket today. Let me take a look at that chart. Ooh, Palantir made a beautiful move through that low. Oh, no, okay. Oh, actually, it was only about $1 move. Yeah, Palantir looks choppy, even though it's down. So that's fine. Oh, I put up Palantir here. I didn't mean to do that. Pardon me. Okay, we are now rejecting away. What was that, man? That was my dog yawning. Rejecting away a little bit from VWAP. Both ES and NQ. They're very nicely in sync today. I will say that. They're very nicely in sync. There only ever was one moment today where they looked like they were slightly out of sync. I'm just going to watch the low of day break here on ES and SPX. 68.31. The rebreak of this pre-market low is a decent level, the 68.46 level. But not my favorite setup. My favorite setup is going to be below the 68.31. We do have news in 4 minutes. News in 4 minutes. Job openings is the news this morning. If this is your first time, thanks for joining the stream. If this is your first time joining the stream, if you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe. If you're on Twitch, give us a follow. I trade on here every weekday morning, on here about 8:15 Central, 9:15 Eastern, for about an hour, hour and a half or so. Just depends how the day's going. Some days shorter, some days longer. News tomorrow, consumer sentiment, consumer credit. Consumer sentiment mainly is the one during market. Next week's pretty big. CPI, unemployment, bunch of stuff next week. Hoping we can start to make a recovery. Long-term stocks are suffering right now. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of the move, it's really not that big. Go look at a 6-month chart. You won't tell me it's a big move anymore that the market's made this week. I mean, crypto, stuff like that, different. But if you look at just the stocks, let's look at the 6-month chart on ES. 1 year. 1 year on ES. Let's look at it as it loads here. There it is. 1 year on ES. Look like a big move now? Yeah. So, it's funny when panic sets in with everybody. We're just so used to everything moving up that when it moves down, we're like, what the heck is going on? How could it possibly move down on us? Google's real tight range after this move up. Very, very tight range. Tesla's making a move down towards its low of day of 393 here. Getting pretty close. Google just ranging. Meta really just ranging. Low of day is really good setup here. We have 2 gap fills if we get to the low of day here. We have a gap fill from the other day, or maybe a week ago. That's going to be about 10 or 12 points. And then we've got another gap fill from quite a while ago. I'm trying to pull it up now. Let's see. Okay. So this gap fill is from, 120. All right, 2 weeks ago. That starts just 68.06, goes down to 67.96, 10 points. But then, well, we've got a gap fill that drops all the way to 67.21. 30-something point gap fill, basically. Here comes our news. It's 9 a.m. here now. 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Not a lot of volume brought in by that news. Not really seeing any big movement. I hope the stream is okay on your end. It's a little my end. Hopefully it's clean. My computer's moving a bit slow. That's weird. Yeah, that is weird. What's going on with my internet? That sucks. I apologize if I'm frozen on the stream side right now. You may not even be able to hear me while I'm saying this. But if I'm not, I'm a little frozen on my end. I'll be back in just a sec. Okay. Here we go. I think we're back. Everything looks to be moving again on my end. All right. Seeing quite a big rejection now. NASDAQ through this 24,750 level. ES through the 6850 and 6845 level. Well through 40 now. We're getting close to this low of day on ES. I'm going to watch it below that. Pardon me, quick stretch. The wall on bookmap here is at 6830. You should be able to see that on the bookmap on your screen. The wall is at 6830. That's what we're looking to get through to take both the gap fill and the downside move here. Let's see if we can do it. That was a really quick move down. Really big rejection from the ES and NASDAQ there. All right, there we go. Now we're loaded. Watching below low of day. I'm going to watch 68.10. No, 68.05 puts. Excuse me. Hmm. 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 Let's see if we break through this level here. Wow, Bitcoin's really selling off. Bitcoin's below 69,000 now. That's crazy. Tesla sold off, through its low of day. Crazy move on Tesla. Let's see if ES gives up this 6830. It's bounced off of there for now, but it just made a big move down. Here it goes, the additional move. See if it gives it up, gets through here. Let's see if it gets through. It's flirting that 6830. We're getting real close to the bottom here. Let's see if we push through with some momentum that we can take a trade here. Looks like it cleared that wall at 6830. Just hasn't pushed through the level yet. That was a really big move down. That what was it? The 9 a.m. candle. We did actually see quite a bit of movement on that with the news coming in. I'm looking for an entry here if we just push through. I think once it gets through, it's just going to chew up all those walls below 6830. Ooh, it's really ranging at the bottom there. We'd like to see that. I think it's going to get through here in just a sec. Tesla really pushed through its low of day down to 390 now. Its low of day was at 393. Pushed really nicely through there. I hope the stream's all right. I'm sorry if it's not. And if you can't hear me, then it doesn't really matter that I'm saying that. But I don't know what's going on with the computer today. It's a little frustrating. There we go. We're through the level. Still bounced a bit there. I'm just waiting to see the sellers really take over. There's a couple of walls here at 68.28, 68.25, 68.20, so I want to make sure it has the right level of sell pressure to chew through all those walls. Otherwise, we could squander a trade here. So just trying to be a little cautious with the entry here. There it is. I'm going to get in SPX puts here. All right, I'm in SPX puts here, excuse me. First level I want to get through is 68.25. Little bounce there so far. Let's see how it shows up. Nice trading with. Sorry, I'm just getting all that in there now. $1,000 on the move down. Nice call out shit. And hell yeah. I guess the stream was working the whole time. I can't tell. A little bit of a retest here. Let's see if it pushes through, back through the 68.30 level. There it goes. Back through again. We should see a new low of day here. 68.04 is going to be the low of day on SPX. Staying below all the key levels here that it needs to. Well, I didn't announce my stop loss. Please apologize. 68.20. No, 68.15 or so. Here we go. We're making a move. Let's see if we get through the low of day here. We are now through the low of day. I'm going to look to take profit here at the 6,800 level. Scaling out slightly here. Just a small amount. I'm going to take at least 2 more scale outs. Let's see. I'd like to see the break through the 6,800, 67.95 end of this gap. That's what I'm looking for now. Should get through. Looks good today. There it goes. Scaling out a bit more. All right. We are scaled out on that. Good trade so far. Still in runners. Still in runners on this trade. Yeah, contract price action was not great. I was in 10K position size on that. I'm only up about 800. Not the best. I'm going to look for 68.15. It's going to be my next level here to take profit. To be fair, it does look like the bottom could fall out of this thing. It's looked like that for about 3 or 4 days, though. If we're being honest with each other. Let's see if we get the 68.15 break, though. That's what I'm looking for next. I'm going to scale out a bit more at the 68.15 level here. It's kissing it. Let's see if we get the full break of it. Still in runners here. P&L still moving. Wow, it really didn't move today. This is not a good trade. Price action is very bad. That contract price did not move as much as I really thought it was going to. This will probably be the only trade I take today. The reason I say that is if you look at Google and Meta where they're sitting in the levels that we want to take them at, they're not there. They're not there. And I don't like the price action. The price action is weird. I'm going to make like not even 10% on this trade, which is Very poor for a typical trade of mine. Let's see if we get through this 69.10. It's the next level we've got here. If we do get through, I'll be scaling out a bit more. This doesn't look like we have a lot of support to the low side here. This looks like we're going to keep seeing a move here. Hey, what's up, bud? My dog came to say hello. What's up, man? Let's see if we get through the 68.10 level. SPX is still sitting at its low of day, basically, here. More or less. I'm in a little over 10% of my position left. Yeah, you got to win with me? Heck yeah. There we go. Yeah, if you got to win with me, share it in the chat. I want to see it. Big rejection here. 68.30 is going to be my stop loss here. I want to give it a little bit of room to work. I think we're going to see the continuation down regardless, so that's why. Everything seems very bearish today. Oh, wow. Might get above the 68.30 level. That's awesome. Good stuff, Trading Wiz. Good stuff. See if we get the next drop here off a rejection. Sorry if the stream's been laggy today. I will figure that out before tomorrow. Looks like it's better now, but I may just close out a book map here or something. Give me some juice back. Just going to be patient here still with this. It rejected off the 69.30 after bouncing off the 68.10. Sorry, 68.30, excuse me. Misspoke. Okay, here we go. Back through, or back to the 68.20 level. Let's see if it gets through here. Still just in the 68.20 to 68.30 range on ES here. So just holding these contracts, see which way we break out of it. My bet's the low side, but we'll see. And there is the low side breakout of it. We caught really the second best part of that move there from 68.30 down to 68.10 more or less. We caught it a little less than that, obviously, but we caught that big leg down there. All right, we're coming back down. We're legging back down again now. We need to get through 68.10 to get through low of day here on SPX. That's going to be the burden of proof, if you will. Meta is making that move down now. We only got about $6 more till Meta gets in range for us. Good stuff so far.